That Mr. Perry Bus, that ain't the Perry Busby I know, man.
Oh man, that's the DC I know. What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
That's
Oh
him. That
man,
is him.
doing good, man. Good to see you, man.
Good
This
to
is
see
some
you, good
welcome
brother.
news.
Good to see you, man.
Good, man.
Well, how do I turn you guys
I'm
up a
back.
little louder? How do I do that?
It's probably your volume. You can
It
check your
might
volume.
check your volume.
But I will suggest that it don't go too loud because
Oh,
You're
yeah,
good. Yeah.
okay.
You good. Yeah, you good. That's why we have some of us have headsets on so we can hear what's going on. Okay. Yeah. Man, I'm glad to have you here also, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys inviting me.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, we cranked up. Yeah, we cranked up. We in here. Okay. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Okay.
Go see you folks.
And welcome to Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. And tonight we're going to be welcoming our new football head coach of the Beaumont United High School Timberwolves, the new head coach, Darrell Colbert, along with my guest, Terry Roy, Chris Jones, we call him Unc, and Perry Busby and Plantation Farm. Don't you move now, Tom Terry? You're not in Plantation no more, right? Oh, your mic is down. Let's see. Your mic is. Wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, let's get you on. Okay, there you go. So anyway, guys, we've got our coach here with us tonight, and we're going to just visit with him tonight. There we go. I got to change the screen so everybody can see him here. Let's go to the comment board right quick and let's let everybody. Let's say hello to folks that's already here with us, and we've got quite a few. We got Eddie Jones. Have a little big shout out to Eddie Henry. And Mary Williams. Great to have you guys on with us. Shout out here tonight. We're just excited. We got our homeboy working in back to Beaumont, Texas. Welcome, Darrell.
Hey, how you guys doing, man? I want to, first of all, thank you guys for inviting me on your show. Absolutely, thank you.
We're glad to have you because we want to be a part of your success as well, because we know you have a high hill to climb here. So we want to start off on the right foot and help you and encourage those to get involved in your football program. And I want to ask this question. Let's let everybody know that you are a Hebert High School student. I mean, you went to Hebert High School. You was in the last year of the integration, and when the school merged with Hebert and Westbrook merged, Forest Park merged, you ended up with and being a senior at Westbrook High School, Bruins. And the first year you was on that team that y'all won the state championship in football. So let's tell everybody all about Coach Darrell Colbert. Darrell, the man,
Yeah, well,
the husband,
hey,
the
man,
father.
I'm pretty excited about this opportunity, Tony, man. I tell you, man, I am a Beaumont guy, growing up in Beaumont, growing up, in Sunlight Manor, growing up in Sunlight Baptist Church under the Reverend G.W. Daniels, man. It's raised by my mother, great lady, my grandmother, my aunts, just great people. And went to Price Elementary School, on to Odom, on to Hebrew High School for 3 years under some great people. I mean, the tutelage of some great people. I stand on the back of some great people. I mean, assistant principal at Odom, Othello Price, and on to Hebert, Mr. Jackson, Coach Ozan, and my coaches are the reason I sit here today. Under Rodney Savette, Shaq Warner in Little League, Donaldson Powell, those guys, Mr. Nelson, were my Little League coaches. These are men that molded me into the man that I am today. And the reason that I do what I do is to give back to student athletes, as well as going over to Odom, Coach Payne, Coach Broussard, and the great Coach Clayton, as everybody know, someone that really molded us, not just me, the guys that I played with and come under. I mean, he was a great man, and he held us accountable to everything that we did. And as I say, the reason that I am the man I am today because of Coach Clayton, and going over to Hebert under the great Alex Darrell, my ninth grade coaches, Coach Guidry, Coach Simpson. I have to name all these guys. These are guys, Coach Morgan, Coach Nolan. These are guys that, I mean, were, you look at coaching these days, a lot of guys get into it for the money. Those guys were instilling values into young people, and that's really what it's about for me. I would do this for free. After going to Hebert for 3 years, wasn't able to graduate from Hebert. Of course, as you said, we went out to Westbrook for that first year, and we had some great success, and it did something for the city of Beaumont, of bringing the city of Beaumont, I thought, together. And then after that, I was able, man, just being blessed, was able to get an athletic scholarship to Texas Southern University. Went on to Texas Southern University and had some success there football-wise, and was able to get an opportunity to play at the next level. Something that I always, and most young people want to do that are involved in sports, was able to get an opportunity, was not drafted out of college, was an unrestricted free agent and signed with the Kansas City Chiefs in 1987, and went there and played there for a few years, and kind of bounced around after that, played there, went to New Orleans and went over to Canada for a few years, and met my wife in Beaumont. She's also from Beaumont. My wife is, her maiden name is Josie Shashan, which she grew up in the south end of town. She ended up graduating from Beaumont Charlton Pollard, and met my wife in 1988. Ended up getting married in 1990. We've been married for over 32 years. My wife and I have 2 beautiful kids, Jasmine and Darrell, and I also have an older daughter, Nikemia, and we also have 2 nieces that we're raising, Adriana and Ashley. Adriana will be graduating this year from Houston Lamar, and Ashley will be coming to Beaumont United next year. She'll be a junior. As I said, my oldest daughter is into nursing. My middle girl is a flight attendant as well as owns her own business. She does credit repair. My son, Darrell, which Darrell played sports as well, went to played at Houston Lamar, ended up leading his team to the state championship, didn't win it his junior year. And upon that, he went to SMU on an athletic scholarship. And one of the things I'm more proud of Darrell than anything that he's ever done athletically, he graduated from SMU in 3 years, which was, that's phenomenal to me for a student athlete to graduate in 3 years from college, as well as athletics. And after that, he came back home to Beaumont and was able to help Lamar University to their first playoff run in the school's history, and now he owns his own. He owns his own quarterback company, Select QB Athletics, where he's training some phenomenal athletes, NFL athletes, on top of college and high school and middle school athletes. So that's who I am. I have all of my families back in Beaumont. I'm staying right now with my cousin Sandra. I'm staying with her until my wife and I find out, where we're going to live there. So I'm kind of back and forth. I have my cousin Kim there, Greg, and some other family members there. So, I'm home, man, and I'm happy to be home. I mean, this opportunity is really amazing. Just coming back and being able to give back, as I said in the press interview when I took the job, give back what was given to me. And that's totally why I'm here, Tony, just to give back what was given to me. I left Beaumont almost 39 years ago, and the game of football has taken this young guy all over the world, man. And I want to come back and expose the young people to what has been good for me. Football has taken care of me and my family all my life. And I'm here to come back and just sow those things into these young people. And I know we're going to do some great things.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Terry?
How you doing, Coach?
Good. How you doing, Terry?
I'm doing well. I know you by my sister, Dawn Joseph.
Oh,
yeah, y'all finished school together. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Dawn. Yeah.
Okay. Outside of football, what are going to be some of the first things that you instill into your players, to help them out in the future?
Well, one thing I tell kids all the time, man, use this game of football as a vehicle, man, because one day it's going to stop. And one thing that I'm huge about is academics, man. One thing that I do and my coaching staff will do, we'll check those grades on a weekly basis. We'll make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do academically. Because if, let's be honest, every kid is not going to go to college on a scholarship.
Right.
So there are going to have to be some values and some things that are instilled in them on a daily basis. That's something I talk about all the time, and every day is grades. I had a parent meeting when I got there, and I told the parents that one thing on my watch is that your kids will do what they're supposed to do academically. A kid has to just say he's not going to do it in order to, he's just not going to get his grades because that's something I'm going to do. I'm going to build relationships with the teachers on campus, with the administrators on campus, because I want our kids to be successful in life, not just sports. So also what we'll do, we'll get in the community and we'll do some volunteer stuff, because I believe you have to get into your community. Because I heard a gentleman say one time, you don't have to be a great athlete, but you have to be a great person. And I want to build great people. And that's because that's what my coaches done. That's what they did for us. They made sure that we were great people. There will be some accountability with my guys. Mm-hmm. I'm going to hold them accountable in the aspect of doing what they're supposed to do all the time, because one thing, it's not just about them. They represent their parents, they represent their school, and they also represent themselves. So that's something that we'll do all the time. They will be held accountable, and they will be pushed to be great people.
Awesome. Terry, well, Darrell, I just coach. I'm gonna call you coach now. We call you DC growing up. I feel like I'm family as well, so I'm not gonna ask too many questions because I know what you're all about. But I've got my panel here. They're here to listen, because we want to see the program be successful. In the last 5 years of the merger, I guess they've had 4 coaches, and it needs stability to keep it going. You got to, and the kids got to be sold on the program. The school has a great name, Beaumont United, and that's what it's going to take to progress in this program, to unite the communities together, to unite the students together, and that's how you're gonna. That's a good way to start to make it successful. Perry, you're next.
DC. As you say, you've been on the side of recruiting as an athlete, as a parent, and as a coach. All of those happen in different stages. In this current stage, what do you see as?
Hey, I lost you guys for a minute. Can you start that question over?
Perry.
Perry, I lost you guys
Okay.
for a minute. I don't know what
Okay,
happened.
no problem. Yeah, I said, you've been recruited as an athlete. You've been a parent of a recruited athlete, as well as coached athletes in all at different stages. Now you're at a different stage in a city that's got a couple of different crises going on. But what do you see are some of the intangibles that you're going to need from parents and the community to help make these kids successful?
Well, one thing, Perry, that you have to have parental support. And that's something that I understand and I've always understood since I've been coaching. I give every parent, every kid my number to reach out to me. I want to form those relationships because it takes a working relationship between the parent and kid. Because one thing that you want to also do, you want to educate the parent. You want to educate on what, I believe every parent wants their kid to be successful. And you have to educate on the parent what it's going to take for their kid to be successful. And those are things that we'll do starting in the middle schools, early sixth grade, making parents understand that their kids need to do certain things in order to be a recruitable athlete. It does not just start when you get to high school. And it's about educating the parent. That's a lot what it's about. As you said, I've been on the recruiting end myself. My son was recruited, and I've also, my background working in college, I've recruited athletes. So I have a lot of knowledge of what it takes for a young man or a young woman, with me being the campus coordinator, what it takes for a kid to be recruited. And it's a lot of, and the most of it with people and parents is education, being able to educate them on what it's going to take. Because a lot of people understand and they say, okay, hey, what's your GPA? Somebody may say, oh, it's a 3.0, but that's their overall GPA. In athletics, in order to get a kid recruited per NCAA, it's going to be their core course GPA. Their core GPA is going to talk about their core courses. It's going to talk about the math, the English, the sciences, those things. So that's education that people sometimes don't know. They'll say that their kids have a 3.0 and they really don't. They have a 3.0 overall. But when you look at NCAA, they only take the core courses. So that part of making parents understand early that their kids, in order for their kid to be recruited, academics come first. I tell parents this all the time. Colleges don't recruit high schools. They recruit kids with good grades, kids that make good decisions, and kids that can play sports. So those are some of the things that we'll do at Beaumont United. We'll make sure that, well, not just Beaumont United and our feeder schools, we'll make sure that our parents know and they're educated on what it takes for their kid to be a recruitable athlete.
Wow, that's never been done. So, as I know, it has been done here. And that's how you begin to build a program, Coach. And you got all the ingredients. And that's starting at the middle schools. That's where it starts.
Absolutely.
And by the time they get to high school, they know the program.
Well, absolutely. I mean, growing up, when we were at, when we're at Oldham High School, Oldham Middle School, well, it was junior high back then. When we were at Oldham, all we wanted to do, man, was get to Hebert, man, and be able to play on Friday night at Greene Stadium, man. Right. One thing we understood back then, we had what's called eligibility slips, man. You was going to get your grades one way or another. Right. We had what's called eligibility slips. You had to bring them around to your teacher.
That's right.
Hey, man, there was some positive reinforcement every Thursday. If you didn't, if you had a D, you got so many licks. If you had an F, you got so many licks. Right. So there was some positive reinforcement back then. But, in saying that, that's where programs are built, man. Programs are not built when you get to high school, man. Right. Programs are built at the grassroots levels, and that's the also the little leagues. I went out to the Beaumont Timberwolves practice when I first got here, just to I met some of the other guys in these other little league organizations. That's where it starts, man.
That's right.
I remember when I was growing up and we were playing across the street from Oldham. The coaches, the middle school coaches, they came over there. That's when we first met Coach Clayton and Coach Payne and those guys, man. We got to give these kids a reason to want to come to Beaumont United. And give these parents a reason to know what they're going to get when their kids come to Beaumont United. And it does not start when they get to high school. And it's
That's
all
right.
going back to what you said. It's about building relationships with parents and
That's
educating
right.
parents.
Right. That is absolutely correct. Ark, there you go, Ark.
Good evening, Coach. Again, I did hear you say that you are a product of a historical HBCU, as am I. Shout out to all HBCU graduates and alum. Um, from a young person's point of perspective, and I consider myself to be young. Um, you did name a few coaches that, like you said, from the little leagues I saw, and once I got introduced into sports in middle school, like you said, it started. Really, it started in elementary through those through those intramural sports, community sports, uh, and that it was that exposure, and then once you got involved or engaged into the overall organization, there was a standard. Um, and I heard you say, allude to that standard. And I do want to let all parents, whether you new and or old, uh, this standard that I heard Coach Colbert mention is that you, parent, um, has to one be your child's biggest fan, and that means support from one end to the next. And as many viewers that we have on, I do want to mimic what Coach said is that it's going to take not just the parents, but the greater community to rally behind what it is that Coach is trying to implement through Beaumont United and its feeder schools. Um, Again, as a PTA member and a volunteer at Martin Luther King Middle School and Charlton Pollard Elementary, um, being a volunteer in our community, that's one of the things that is going to be needed because some of our parents throughout the district have I guess other responsibilities, sustainment responsibilities. So it's going to take it's going to take us to rally around that child, whether it's math, English, reading, science, if they're having trouble in it. So um, I do want to, on coach's behalf, encourage everybody that is a part of the Beaumont United community, campus community, to gear yourselves up this summer. Don't wait till school starts. Gear yourselves up this summer. Volunteer on the football field, off the football field, on the track, and field, off the track and field, on the baseball field, in every aspect that we possibly can infuse ourselves into these young individuals. Because one thing I noticed you said, Coach, not everybody is going to get and or receive that scholarship. But once that individual knows that they have a community that supports them and upholds them, that scholarship is only a bridge to cross. Um,
That's right.
and like you said, educating parents, especially on key points, especially if you are building an athlete or supporting an athlete in your home, knowing the ins and outs of getting your athlete into uh, viewing eyes that's going to make a difference. A lot of parents don't and didn't know that, Coach. So I want to say thank you for that information. And then finally, for my questions,
Thank
I
goodness.
noticed you said that you guys. I noticed that you said you guys will be doing some volunteering in the community, and as a past athlete of Coach Enoch Dixon, and Coach Green, and Coach Henry, all from Central Senior High School. I graduated from Central Senior High School, and that standard that you mentioned was implemented to my mom, my dad. Not to mention that my dad and Coach D, pretty much like you all and you, Coach, y'all knew each other, y'all know each other, so that standard was not far fetched. Um, But what areas are you, I guess, looking to impose your your football players, your athletes into the community? Not saying that there is all kinds of things going on that could be volunteership, uh, or look good on a college application, and I understand that that's one of the things, but outside of that, what relationship in volunteerism are you looking to
Well, I
do?
know some things that we will do. We'll definitely go to the elementary schools, and a lot of times that we've done in the past and other programs that I've been in. We'll go and read to to the younger kids. We'll do that. Just last month, there was a fun day at Martin Elementary. I took 52 student athletes over there with us, and we volunteered and enjoyed and played. They enjoyed with the kids on their fun day. We'll do a lot of things like that. There'll be other things that we'll do that I give it something that's kind of been dear to me that I wanted to do. We talk about voting. I want to do something in the future to where we get our young people out to vote, maybe a voting drive or something like that, because I believe that change
Hold
can
on,
only
coach.
be made
I
if
think
we
we
get people out to vote.
difficulties.
I want to, I am the football coach, but there are some things that we can do. And, as Tony talked about this great name of United, I want to be a part of uniting the different areas of Beaumont that feeds into Beaumont United. So I want to, I'm not going to say just in particular what all community things that we do, but we will be involved. We'll look, with talking to our other campus coordinators, Coach Tammy Brown and Coach David Green, which I look so forward to working with them. We'll get out and do some things. I know they have some ideas of things that we'll do. So just not in particular. I know we'll go to the elementary schools for sure. We'll go to the middle schools. We'll do some other things, but we will be in the community for sure. Because I believe you got to let
Awesome.
kids
And,
know
and
they got to give back to their community. Because if they don't know,
correct,
you're not
correct.
giving back to your own, how can you expect somebody else to help?
I totally agree. I like the fact that you mentioned, especially reaching back to the elementary schools and to the middle schools, because, like you said, once you get to high school, if you have no clue, and now I'm talking to the students, you have no clue of where you want to be. That is that is trouble. That's signs of trouble. So over the summertime, parents, I encourage you outside of sports. Uh, Engage with your child. Find out what it is that they like. What's their niche? You know what I'm saying? And just like college people, we changed our major a bunch of times, but eventually we found out what it was, and that's what we attracted to. That's what attracted us, and some of us are running with it till this day. So I do want to say thank you, Coach, for coming back this way, especially from to your roots.
Absolutely.
Like you said, I do, and I know many of the brothers that are on this line, and the women that we share this platform with. We do as much as we possibly can in our communities to enlighten and inform and engage people, our people. So again, Coach, welcome back to Beaumont.
Thank you
Welcome
so
back,
much.
Coach. Enjoy it, Terry.
Hey, yeah, I'm glad you spoke about voting. If you ever need some help with something about that, just contact me. And I'll be glad to come in.
Yeah,
Especially that.
I'll be
we're
glad
gonna
to come in and
Especially
help
that.
with that.
yeah, we're gonna be
But
here for you, Coach.
yeah, I look at a lot of football and in the area, and what I see is kind of lacking as far as for the players is fundamentals. Is that something that you're going to work on more than anything?
Absolutely. I mean, one thing you have to do, I don't care what level you're at, if you're not taking care of the fundamentals and you're not taking care of the fundamentals, often, I mean, you really get away from really who you are. In anything that you do, the fundamentals is where it starts, man. So that's something that we will do. As I go back to saying, man, we will get involved in our middle schools. We will make sure that our middle schools are doing the things that we're doing at Beaumont United. And it starts with the basics. I don't care what you do and what position you play, it always starts with stance and starts. Those are some things that we'll do on a daily basis. Those are some things that we'll do in the off season. We will have a program to where we will go back to the basics. We will make sure that we're teaching our kids. So us as coaches, what that says is we have to always be, working on our craft and becoming better coaches and going to different places and learning different things that we can bring back to our student athletes. Just as a teacher does professional development, me and my staff will do the same thing. And I've always done that with my coaches and the staffs that I've been on. We've always made sure that we're learning as much as we can to give back to our student athletes. So yes, absolutely. We will make sure that our kids have the basics of the positions that they're going to be played, because you can't have an expectation for a kid to do something that they have not been taught. I always use the analogy, you meet them where they are to get them where you want them to go. So in that aspect, in every position, our coaches have to know what it's going to take for our student athletes to be successful. Because at the end of the day, somebody asked me one time, Coach, what are you going to do offensively? What are you going to do defensively? What are you going to do special teams? We're going to do what our student athletes do best. We're not going to do what we know. We're going to do what they do best. And that starts at the basics. Absolutely.
Do you think the a player playing two-way hurts them or helps them?
Absolutely not. I'm one of them, I guess, an old school guy. I know you don't see it a lot, but when I was in high school, only time I left the football field my senior year was on punt team and field goal. So I'm not one of those guys that I'm going to play the best players. I mean, how can you have a kid sitting on the sideline and he's probably can be one of your best receivers or your best running backs or your best defensive lineman? Absolutely not, man. We're going to play the best player. And what does that mean? As I remember going into my senior year, Coach Darrell told me and Jerry and a couple other guys, hey, man, y'all got to get in some shape because you guys are going to have to play. And I played both ways. I returned punts, kicks. So, I mean, no, absolutely. We're going to play the best players. And if we have some student athletes that can play both ways, and that's going to give us an opportunity to win, that's what we'll do. Absolutely.
Well, Coach, have you gotten your coaching staff together yet?
Tony, we're coming together. We're coming together. I mean, we have quite a few guys I've brought in. Bringing in my coordinators are in. On the defensive side of the ball, as a lot of people know, Beaumont owned Malcolm Frank will run our defense. I've been knowing Coach Frank for a long time, played against Coach Frank professionally, knows what type of guy he is. I mean, he's a guy that, that is a guy that loves kids. And that's the thing with me, what I look for in coaches, guys that can build relationships with kids. It's not all about football. To get kids to play for you, to get kids to do what you need them to do, they got to know that you're there for them as the person. And that's what I look for in student athletes. The X's and O's will take care of themselves. But when I took the job, looking for a coordinator, Coach Frank was one of the first guys that came to my mind because I know what he brings to the table. Also, I'm going to be honest, I wanted some Beaumont guys. I wanted some people that understood Beaumont. I wanted some people that had walked this same path that I've walked, and they understand our kids and they understand our community. So I think Coach Frank is going to do a phenomenal job for us. I'm also bringing my offensive coordinator. I'm bringing him with me from Houston Westbury. His name is Albert Hardy. Coach Hardy grew up in the Galena Park area. Was one of the top athletes coming out when he came out of high school. He was the number 2 running back in the state when he came out. Went to the University of Texas. Was on that national championship team with Vince Young. And if it wasn't for injury, Coach Hardy would have played in the NFL. But he's a guy that brings a wealth of knowledge with him. He's also will do our strength and conditioning. He's phenomenal at that. He's done a great job for me the last couple of years at Westbury, and he's going to do a great job. His wife is from Port Arthur, so he has ties to the Golden Triangle in the Beaumont area as well.
That's good.
So our staff is coming.
coming
together. Coach Caleb Caesar still on our staff.
That's good.
Coach Kevin Dotson's guys, and I'm so glad that I was able to keep Coach Galen Douglas as well, Coach Brandon Thomas. I'm also added Coach Trey Green. He's getting into coaching. I think he's gonna do a phenomenal job. I followed Coach Green's his career when he was at Ozan as the quarterback, went on to Prairie View and had only thing I'm gonna hold against him that he went to Prairie View. I'm a Texas Southern. I tell him all the time, man. He went to Prairie View, but I ain't gonna hold that against you.
I kind of officiated a ball game in his first year in Koontz. I think he was in Koontz. What was he in Koontz?
Yeah.
One of those little towns up north. He was up in East Texas. He was his first year, second year coaching up there. But
yeah,
he's going to be a great coach.
He's going to do a great job for us. So I'm also bringing the guy in, Carl Williams, who's going to be our D-line coach. He's coming in from Houston. He's going to do a great job. I've been knowing him for a long time. And, we're still hiring a few guys. It's coming together, though. It's coming together. And the main thing that I was looking for, when you talk about coaches, a lot of people this day and time, man, all they talk about is X's and O's.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about building relationships, man. That's something that I meet with my staff on a weekly basis, man. And that's one thing that I talk about is building a relationship with your kids, man. Mm-hmm. So if you're the D-line coach, you're the wide receiver coach, you're the linebacker coach, you are the head coach of those positions. And my expectation for you is building relationships with those kids. Knowing who that kid is, letting that kid know who you are. Because I believe kids play for you when they know that you're for them and they know who you are. So one thing that I do with my coaches as well, I make them tell their story to our kids. Because I want my kids to know who they are too. I don't want our kids to not know that, okay, Coach Hardy played for the University of Texas. Our kids need to know that because they have aspirations of playing on the next level. I want our kids, as I told our kids a couple weeks ago, I asked a question. I said, how many of you guys know that Coach Malcolm Frank played professional football? They said, quite a few of them raised their hands. And I asked them, I said, well, how many of you guys have asked Coach Frank some questions of how he got there? Not many raised their hands. And see, those are things that I think we have to push to our kids because exposure, when you expose kids to things, it makes it easier and they know that they can do it too. So I promote my kids, I promote my coaches, and I want my coaches to let our kids know what they're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's about being able to build up our young men and push them forward to become great men. That's what it's about for me. So I will always have great people and good people around me that are going to build relationships with student athletes.
That's what I like, Coach. That tradition we used to have at one time. We used to have that tradition.
Absolutely.
We got to bring that tradition back because it was stolen from them, and we just got to build a program.
Yeah.
Perry, you
I
got
totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Especially in the city that's coined to be the NFL capital of the world. I totally agree.
Perry, you got the last question.
Well, I don't know if it's more of if this question is more just a statement, and that is, I just commend you in this endeavor because everything that you say always ties back to the community, and we don't ever want our kids to get separated from the community because, as you know, as you progress in this and you are better, the one thing that you are done is taken away from your community, and that is a price of success. And so to have coaches like you, I think, in these young men's life who have a potential to get to that level, we hope that we believe, as the Bible says, that they won't depart from those ways because it is very enticing. And that's an element that we can't, that we can't overlook in this. And so I just appreciate you investing in these young men's life because they're going to need you as an anchor. As you always speak passionately about Coach Darrel, and he's one of those anchors. And we forgot some of those who even taught us in flag football, like Coach Mayfield and you was at West Oakland. You was at West Oakland, Mr. Nixon.
Yeah.
They carried on those. They carried on those same concepts, even though it was flag football.
That's right.
And they carried that about being responsible for your position and being where you were when the ball was snapped. It didn't matter if it was tackle or flag. So I appreciate you in this, and I really look forward to where Beaumont United goes.
Well, and I appreciate that. You definitely, understand. Period. We walk the same path, man. And one thing that I know that kids have not changed. I say this all the time. Kids have not changed. I believe adults have. I believe there has to be. We have expectations, but back then people gave up their time. You look at the Rodney Servettes, you look at the Donaldson Piles, and Mr. Nelsons, and you can go on and on of people that gave up the Mickey Guidry's, which was my Pony League coach. And you look at those guys, they gave up their time. They gave up themselves. And that's what we got to get back to. We have an expectation of wanting kids to be a certain way, but we got to get back as adults and giving back. Because if you're don't have an expectation for kids to be a certain way when you haven't helped mold them into
exactly.
And the reason, as I said, I do this and stand on the back of some great people, because I growing up at Perry, this as your father, growing up at Sunlight Baptist Church, Reverend G.W. Daniels was a giver. This man gave back to the community. He gave back to the city. And that was instilled in me a long time ago of giving back. My grandmother, my mother, they were givers. My aunts, they were givers. And we want Beaumont to be a certain way, and we want our community to be a certain way. We got to get back to the roots of how it all started, of those people of giving. And that's what I'm here to do, is help. I'm not here for money. I'm not here for notoriety. I'm here to give back to my community, because the man I am at 57 years old now are because of the people that gave back to me.
Awesome, man. I am so glad to have you back, and I'm glad you accepted my invitation to come on. And we want to be a support system to you, be that booster, and we're going to help you, be a part in helping you succeeding in Beaumont United football program, and not just in the football program, but overall athletic department. We need that. Yes, we really need that, man. I'm excited. I'm glad. I can't wait till football season start. I kind of lost interest in the high school ball because it wasn't the same anymore. The tradition was gone. The way we grew up, it's not there anymore. Yeah. And I kind of, being a football official for 42 years, I lost desire to even go to a game, and that never has been like me. And so now that to have you back and knowing the focus and the process that you're going to put in place and bring that tradition back, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you've got put in place for this community as well, and the school. Now you're moving up. The high school is moving up to 6A ball, which that's going to be a big challenge.
Yeah,
but we also know, and as a football experience in football, we know that it's going to be a challenge, and we're not expecting. I'm not, but I'm expecting progress. We'll see that progress as you go on and build a program. It takes 4 years to build a program. And I know you got it. You sound like a real coach. You got the aptitude, man. I can't wait to get to see your program. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. But if you have any last words, or anybody else like to say anything, you got a chance now before we close out.
Well, one thing I can tell you, man, we are gonna build a program. We're gonna build a program that the communities, is happy. It's happy to have us here. Main thing we're gonna do. We're gonna build student athletes. kids.
Right.
We're going to build young men. We are moving up. We're moving up to a tough, to a tough district. But
Right.
one thing that I know, it's still football, man. It's still
Right.
football, and we got to prepare our kids on a weekly basis in order for them to be, to have success. We're not going into it to where we're going to just lay down and fold our tent.
Right.
Absolutely
Right.
not.
Right.
We're
Right.
going into every game to win every game. I
Right.
don't know any other way.
Yes.
Growing up, as I tell people all the time, I didn't lose a sporting event until my junior year in high school. My junior year, we lost to Willeridge to go to the state championship.
And that almost killed you.
All I know how to do is win.
Ooh.
So all I know how to do is win. So I'm going to instill some values in those young men that they can win. They will win. So I'm not afraid of where we're going. I'm not saying what's going to happen, but I will say that our young people will compete.
I will compete. That's all you can do is compete.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Coach, I felt pretty bad too back in the day when we played Willow Reed, so don't feel bad.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, I say that to say, that was the first game I ever lost in my life.
Yeah.
I had, my 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
Wow.
grade. I had never lost a sporting event in my life.
I was at that game.
So, I say that to say, winning is, that's what Beaumont is. And we got to get back to that. We got to get back to our roots.
That's right.
And you talk about this united, you're talking about, the North End, the South End, the Pay Archer, and you're uniting that together. Man, that can be a phenomenal thing. It really can.
Yeah.
And I think that, everyone coming together and really giving back to these young people, some great things can happen.
That's right.
No.
That's right.
In fact, Darrell, that story has lived on in legend because that was my class that lost.
Absolutely.
And I mean, there have been discussions as to why we didn't give it to Jerry, why they didn't throw it to Love. It has gone
Absolutely.
On. That was a heartbreak. It was truly a heartbreak. But that adversity led to you guys winning the state championship. I think that's something that we all celebrated in, seeing you guys win.
And then I tell you, that's been phenomenal just to see in the basketball team the last 2 years, man, of what Coach Green and his program has done. It's phenomenal, man. And we have to continue to celebrate them. And, what Coach Tammy Brown has done with our girls basketball team. And we need people to come out and support these young people. Every time that, those teams play, we got to get people to come out and support the baseball team, the softball team, the volleyball team.
Yeah.
That's what our young people need. Please come out and support them. It's not just coming out, when you know somebody. Sometimes some of the kids' parents are working and they're not able to get there. But if they see people in the stands, it just makes them feel good. I remember when I was a student athlete, and sometimes my mother couldn't be there, but seeing people that I knew in the stands, because people supported back then. They came out. They came to different sporting events. So what do we need? We need people to come support our soccer team. We need people to come support, our powerlifting team. We have tennis team. We have swimming. Come out and support these student athletes and let them know that you're there to support them. We also need that at Beaumont United.
That's right. Man. I will let Perry close out the podcast, but I want to say this to you, Coach DC. Man, I'm glad to have you back. I am glad to have you here, and I know what you can do. I know your potential. You and I talked early in the year. We was at a basketball game, and we chatted about you thinking about coming back, and would you come back, or you don't have to come back, but you want to give back to the community. And it stayed on my mind that whole night, the next day. And I said, hey, we got to do something to get you back here. So I am glad to have you back, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Perry, you can close us out.
Okay. Well, no, I'm going to just close by saying, DC, as Terry said, when you want to get started on voting, call me. I'm there. My brother, I am there. Just like you came back. Again, I'm always looking for opportunities to come back.
Absolutely.
Everybody on this panel knows I am true to my word on that. And as important as voting is to our people,
Oh,
just
man.
the word, and I'm there.
It is, and I do some work with my hometown homeboy, my attorney Shannon Holmes. Shannon and I talk all the time about different things to give back to the community, man. And Shannon and I have talked about some things that putting in place for our community, and that's just one of the things that I think is huge for us.
Right.
And I see Shannon's on the call, and he's someone I talk to on a daily basis, man. Someone that's real dear to me, and someone that is real dear to my family, and someone he's my attorney, man. He does everything that I do. Shannon is involved in, man, and he and I have talked about that give back up to Beaumont and just how much potential Beaumont has, but it's going to take a collective group for us to get to get together and do these things for Beaumont.
Okay.
Hey, we're gonna invite you back, Coach, the week before the tour day starts. We can get these parents back involved.
Hey, man, you better get me, man. Why you got me? Because once
You
that's
wanna
started,
get
man,
good,
I'm all in,
huh?
man.
We want to get everybody pumped up and ready. Yeah. We want to get everybody pumped up and ready.
Yeah, well,
Coach say he a hot commodity.
Hot commodity.
I appreciate you guys inviting me, man. I enjoyed it.
All right, man.
Anytime you guys, man, if I got the time, I'm all in, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you. Thanks so much. God bless you. Wish you all the best, all right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good to see you, man.
Thank you for watching Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. Be sure to like and subscribe to all Knowledge is Power social media pages.